And of course, that is just one company with some very ambitious plans. And it's important to remember that all over the UK, there are companies of different sizes, some of them really big, some of them small, medium-sized businesses, who are keen to exploit the opportunities which are out there in a low-carbon future. They're looking at everything. They're realising that, reviewing the way they run their businesses, and they really do need people with the right skills. And, we live in a modern age, and if they don't find the people with the skills here in the UK, they will go elsewhere to find them, because this is, this change in technology, as underlined in the Stern report, is that the people who move now really stand to gain advantage, and they're not going to wait for us to play catch up. So we have to be ahead of the game. And it is complicated because, again, as the academics sort of underlined, we don't know for sure what technologies we will be using in, say, 10 or 15 years' time. So we have to make sure that the young people who we are, inspiring, who we're bringing through, have got the skills, have got the flexibility, will be able to do those jobs, when they become available. And I mentioned, at the beginning of my talk, how I'm a real fan of social media. And there are all sorts of ways. I think it's really important to keep abreast, to keep a really strong contact with, businesses like this, with people all over the world knowing what they're doing. And, Twitter is much derided for the fact that you can find out what celebrities had for breakfast, in my case, 2 prunes and then eventually one of those croissants. And you can find that out. But you can also find out, you can choose to follow people who are absolutely, out at the sharp end in these industries. And it enables you to keep a track and to talk to them, to ask what they want. What do you do? What can we do? Is there something we can have in our course? That's a very sort of like simple and an immediate way. In a few minutes, you're going to be hearing about other ways of sort of like modifying the curriculum, things that you can do to make sure that you are teaching your students and preparing your students for jobs and for a future that really exists, rather than one that may have existed 5 or 10 years ago, but is no longer relevant now. And it is important that we are all active in this, that we take responsibility, that we understand that every person in this room has to act. We don't have to wait for government, we don't have to wait for industry, we do it ourselves. And it's very interesting. My daughter Rose, she's 21, she's in her last year at Manchester University, and her thesis is looking at the music industry and their attitude towards a low-carbon future. And it's very revealing because she's been interviewing musicians, and there's one classic interview with a musician who goes, do you know what, I really think that the music industry should be setting an example, and how great if we could stand there and we can reduce the amount of carbon that we burn, when we're out touring. It's really ridiculous, so much food goes to waste, we've got to do something. So that's what he said officially. And then when he was sitting down casually and having a coffee, he went, do you know what? I don't give a damn, really. I just want to sell records, And so we mustn't be like that, We have to not just be very polite, and enthusiastic in this room. When you leave this room, go out and do what you've said you're going to do, because you'll make a real difference to the way your colleges actually feel, and also to the future of your students. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you. It's been lovely to talk to you.